Do you remember when the Brooklyn-based hip-hop duo known as the Cocoa Brothers used to be known as Smif N Wesson? What about the recently maligned Remi Ma? She used to be known as Remi Martin. Do you remember that? How about Miami's own Uncle Luke? Did you know he used to be known as Luke Skywalker? These hip hop figures and some others had to change their name because the owners of the copyrights of these product names, the owners of the rights to these movie characters, they took legal action against these rappers to force them to stop using a name or title too similar to their product. But there's one guy that used one of the most powerful family names in the history of American industry and got away with it. That would be Jay-Z, and that family would be Rockefeller. But why? Thanks for watching the B-Boy Stance. If you know how powerful the real Rockefeller family is, like and subscribe. It's nothing new in hip-hop for a rapper to adopt a name that is similar to a pop culture character or a movie character, like how Nipsey Hussle is a play on the name Nipsey Russell, the famous black entertainer, or Big Pun, who fashioned his moniker after the Marvel comic character The Punisher. It's clever, witty, it may add a novel element to the act, and usually it's used without permission. Occasionally, however, a rapper uses the name of a product or character that the original owners don't appreciate, and they are forced by legal action to stop using the name. Even if the name is spelled differently for the sake of ebonics, but pronounced similarly to the original, if the owners find out, they will stop you from using that name. Most of these companies don't want to risk tarnishing their product's name by allowing artists to use the name in a way that they don't agree with, don't understand, or they perceive as negative. It's one thing to name drop products, characters, movie titles, or clothing brands, but to adopt or take on the name as your own title is another issue. As stated, the rap group Smif with two F's and Wesson adopted the name from the iconic firearms manufacturer Smith with a TH and Wesson. Maybe they thought they could get away with it because the spelling is different and we ebonically pronounce it. But the casual listener could tell who they were trying to emulate, and so did Smif N Wesson, who forced them to stop using the name. Such was the case with Remi Ma, formerly known as Remi Martin. When the Remi Martin Cognac Company found out she was using the name as a rapper, they sent her a cease and desist letter forcing her to change her name or face legal action. The rest is history. Now, Remi Martin and Smif N Wesson and other brands, products, and franchises that rappers have borrowed from are nothing compared to the Rockefellers. The Rockefellers were billionaires in the early 1800s, and they have only gotten more powerful with regard to geopolitical influence and authority. The Rockefellers are synonymous with old white money and power. So ask yourself, if a little old cognac company stopped a rapper from using their name, and a dusty old gun company forced another rap group to stop using their name, and all the other examples of situations where a company forced a rapper to stop using their name, why did the Rockefeller family allow Jay-Z and his crew to use the name? The Rockefellers earned their fortune through the oil industry and controlled one of the original major American industries. Without going into a whole history lesson, the Rockefellers began to be rightfully accused of some horrible things. So somewhere along the line, the Rockefellers became very unpopular in America. In other words, people began to hate the name Rockefeller. So you know what they did? By the late 1800s, the Rockefellers started giving away millions and millions of dollars all over the world to all kinds of organizations for all kinds of causes. Rich people call that philanthropy. They were trying to clean up their name and their reputation. They wanted the world to love and respect the name Rockefeller again. So again, ask yourself, why would a major, rich, powerful white family dynasty that has spent hundreds of years and billions of dollars cleaning up its name and reputation allow a black man from Brooklyn, a professed drug dealer who continued to peddle his tales of dope dealing on wax, to use their name and potentially damage their reputation all over again? You mean to say that Smif N Wesson called Smif N Wesson, but the Rockefellers never contacted The Rock, as Jay-Z nicknamed it? The Rockefellers would allow Jay-Z to put out an album called Reasonable Doubt, the title of which connotes criminality and legal issues. They would then allow them to promote a subsidiary affiliated rap group called State Property, which was a brazen and blatant salute to crime and jail culture. It doesn't matter that it's spelled differently, phonetically, ebonically, if you will. The name of Jay-Z's record label still sounds exactly like the name of an old, prestigious American family dynasty, Rockefeller. Maybe they allowed Jay-Z to use their name, and in exchange for fame and wealth, his job was to promote and glorify drug dealing, which influences millions of young black men to sell drugs, resulting in a steady stream of bodies for the prison industrial complex, and help keep blacks part of the permanent underclass. Jay-Z all but turned his back on the record label and his former label mates, from Dame Dash to Beanie Siegel. He's in another class now, a higher tax bracket. He paid their price. Now look who he hangs out with. This is a topic that bears exploring and may hold the answer to some questions on why and how hip-hop in general has been weakened, diluted, compromised, and finally appropriated and used against us, the black community, the very creators of the art form.